All right, y'all. So in this episode, we're going to talk about one of the key elements, one of the key elements in life that so many people miss, and that's communication. And the only reason I can talk about it is because something so simple just happened to me, and I just have to give it to you the way that it happened, right? So, my dad is with us, and it's great. I'm grateful at that we have this time with one another and just laugh, all of that good stuff, right? So I normally go upstairs, make sure that he has everything that he needs. And this particular day, I make sure I gave him what he liked, right? So he told me he liked this root beer. I make sure that he have it, along with a water. So water, root beer, and y'all know I like to make cups. So in the cups that I made, I know that you're taken care of. I know the ice is going to be good. I know that the root beer is going to be good, and your water is going to stay cold. You're going to be good for for at least a few hours, right? So I go and I get the things that I know that he likes. So when I go to take those things, me thinking I'm doing good and making sure that, I'm doing what he like, right? So when I give him, and set the cups down, immediately he says, I say, I brought you some water and I brought you some root beer. He said, I thought you would have just brought me some ice because I was going to drink this Pepsi right here. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. Now, I said, no, okay. Normally, immediately that could have shifted in a bad place, right? Because one, I'm doing a kind gesture in my heart and and then two, I'm giving you what you like. I had to tell him, I said, listen, I said, how would I have known that? I said, if you would not have said that to me, then how would I have known that that is what you wanted? I said, you have got to communicate with me so that I can give you the things that you want, right? Because if you don't communicate with me, how am I supposed to know that those are the things that you want? So he looked at me, shook his head. He said, you're right. I said, now, as of now, you have root beer in this cup. I said, do you want me to take it and to pour it out and get you something? No, no, that's fine. He said, I just drank this a little bit later. But the key element that I was speaking of is communication. And that's one of the things that I had to share with him. If you communicate with me, then I'll know the things that you want. I'll know the things that you need. If you tell me versus me trying to do what I'm thinking that you want. And y'all know I try to apply everything in life to just, spiritual aspect of that. How often is it that we fail to communicate with God, and then we're wondering why things are not happening the way that we're believing for or what we're hoping for? It's because we fail to communicate with our Father. We fail to communicate with our Creator, and it was just one of those aha moments for me right there. Right. So just speaking to him and letting him know, instead of getting mad and just making my day, because it was early in the morning, it could have shifted my entire day. That one encounter that just required me to speak up and just say it in a nice way. All you have to do is communicate with me. And that's where we fail at in life, y'all. So many times we fail to communicate with our Father, with our creators, with our Creator, not creators. Let me fix it, right? We fail to communicate with our Creator. We fail to communicate with one another. We fail to talk to one another and love on one another. And it's basic communication. And we get mad over something that, it was something simple. If we would have just communicated and talked to one another, then we couldn't have all of this anxiety and hatred and all of this stuff going on in the world today, because we failed to communicate. So communication is key. That is a key source, a key element to life. And we often miss it, y'all. We fail to talk to God. We fail to talk to people. And notice I put God first. We fail to talk to people, and we wonder why some of the things are the way that they are. And it's a basic element of communication. That's talking to one another, respecting one another's opinion, and not yelling at one another, because I could have been different. My dad could have been different. And then guess what? It would have been a domino effect. That means everybody that I came in contact with that day would have been feeling the effects of me and my dad not communicating. Now, how often do we take things out on other people for things that we allowed, things that we chose not to do, things that we did? Let me notice I say we, you, I, we are the common denominator in this equation here, but yet and still we take it out on other people. And all of this could have very well been avoided had I dealt with that right then when it occurred. The Bible tells us, if our brother or sister offend us, let them know, right? Not in a hurtful way or disrespectful way. We just say it right then. And communication is the key element. But what's important about this, y'all, is how God says, they failed to communicate with me. I am God. They fail to communicate with me. And the word of God is so specific. It's our manual. It gives us outline. It helps us. But we have to go to God and speak to him and communicate with him. God, this is where I am, as if he don't know already, right? So he's God, he knows all, sees all, right? So we need to go. We have to get to that place of communicating with our creator and learning to communicate with him and allow him to communicate with us. That's the thing. God, how do you speak to me? We have so many people doing so many things that are gifted in so many areas. Some people see vision, some people hear. I'm one that hear. Let me say that. And I enjoy that. But it comes with learning how your creator communicates with you. And sometimes that is so frustrating because if we go to a different country, we don't understand their language, right? They can speak a language. You're like, what in the world are they talking about? Because we don't understand their language. But we've got to learn to communicate with our creator so that you can understand his language. He can understand your language. Have you ever been in a room and your baby crying? You know the cry of a hurt. You know the, okay, wait a minute, I can hold up a second. That's all right. They just trying to get my attention type thing. But either way, the cry of your son or your daughter, right? God is the exact same way. When you cry out to him, he knows you. He knows the sound of your voice. He knows you. And the problem is we fail to go to him and ask. We fail to go and communicate with him and not just ask, talk with him, speak with him, commune with him, allow God to speak to you. So y'all, in a simple moment, let me tell you a simple moment of communicating with my dad today. It's like I had a light bulb moment. I call that a light bulb moment. I had one of them aha moments that, okay, God, I get it. So it's communication, and not just with other people. What's important is making sure that I communicate with you. Yes, communicating with others is very important, but at the top of my list is learning how to communicate with you. God, teach me how to communicate with you. Teach me how to pray. Teach me how, God, to hear your voice and recognize that it's you speaking to me, God. So, Father, I want to cultivate my relationship with you. I want to communicate more with you. And several times throughout the day, I want to hear from you today, y'all. So, yeah, I'm super, super excited. God is so strategic and he knows exactly how to teach us. He knows exactly what to allow us to go through so that we can learn. And the problem is sometimes, y'all, we keep going through it over and over. It's because we didn't learn from it. And he can't move us to the next place until we learn from it. So that's another whole nother chapter right there, the whole nother subject right there. Let me say that right. So, y'all, communication is the key. If you don't get anything else, learn to communicate. That doesn't mean yell at one another. It means to respect one another's opinion and decision, or opinion. Let me fix that. Respect one another's opinion, but the most important thing is don't let something reside in your heart because of lack of communication. Lack of communication causes unresolved issues. Unresolved issues will create problems. I'm going to say that again. Communication is the key. Lack of communication cause problems, cause issues. We got some issues, right? If I don't communicate, because we got some stuff that's brewing. And if I don't deal with them, it's going to create a big problem, a very big problem. I use the example of it's better to dig up a seed than it is to knock down a big oak tree. So that's something to think about, y'all. Listen, communication is the key. Pay attention to the words, that choose your words carefully, and know that all you have to do is learn to communicate and communicate effectively, y'all. So again, one of them aha moments, light bulb moments, and God uses those examples to teach us as only he can, y'all. So I hope that everyone have a very, very productive day. Very awesome day today, y'all. And remember, it's not really what happens to you that matters. What really matters is how you respond to what has taken place, because growth comes through your response. Y'all have an awesome day today on purpose.